Alright, hey you Tens, hope you're all well, hope you're doing good. I'm just going to quickly kickstart off the JavaScript unit. So hopefully you've all done CSS by now, I would hope. If not, you need to focus on getting yourself into gear, I think. So starting off JavaScript, new language. A couple of you have done a little bit in Codecademy by now. Some of you would have, some of you wouldn't have because you're all at different spots, but that's okay. Alright, I'm going to give you a quick spiel about what JavaScript is, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the lesson to go on with some work. So, what have we done so far? We've done HTML, which is all about the structure, the text, etc. Right? This is the outline, or like the house plan, is another way to think of it. Then CSS, you make it look pretty, right? So we've taken our bare bones design, we've added a bit of color, makes them look really handsome, really beautiful, right? Like me. And then the third one, JavaScript, which we're going to look at today, is making it do other stuff. So, basically, the things that we've covered things like designing a web page, interface design. We've done things like colors, sitemaps, and all the different protocols that go with CSS as well. That's what we've done, right? And this ties in with, for those of you who actually bothered to look at the rubric for all this stuff, there's some class activities and there's Codecademy and review questions, 2 case studies for HTML and CSS, and then the last bit of the rubric is the case study for JavaScript. We're almost done with project 1, meaning that we can start project 2 shortly, which is very exciting, which I'm happy to talk about very shortly. Alright, so this is how all this stuff works together. So the HTML is the structural stuff, it's the base layer. The CSS is the presentational, makes it look pretty. The JavaScript is where the action happens. That's what makes things happen. I guess it's the code, right? Think about it like a game design, right? Somebody's laid out the idea for the game, that's the HTML. Somebody's done all the artwork for the game, right? Maybe they've put they've made some 3D models and stuff like that, but it doesn't do anything. So then the JavaScript comes in, and that means when you press the W key, you start walking. That's what JavaScript does, right? It adds that interactability with the user. So it's good. Another example, HTML, sort of like you just lay out the bare bones. With CSS, you can make it more beautiful. With JavaScript, you can make it like a game. Exciting that. All right. So this is a quick example of what it could look like, right? So this is a very basic one. If we did this bit of HTML at the top of this code, it says player 1 equals Chris. That's what we would get, right? Then we type in our font and our colors and all that sort of stuff in our CSS. And it starts to look like this now. So we've got player 1, Chris. How beautiful is that? And then the last one, I want you to have a think about what this code could do. Like, it's written in pretty structured language, so have a guess what you think it does. As a little hint, this little dialog box will pop up on the side. Pause the video, have a guess, and then hit play. Did you do it? Don't lie to me. Alright. I hope that worked out well. So what this does is it basically says, alright, we're going to bring up this dialog box and say enter a name. Whatever is entered in becomes the name instead of Chris, right? It becomes player 1 plus whatever they entered, right? Cool. So basically, this makes pages come to life, makes them more interesting and useful. Because before now, the stuff that we've done may look okay, but it doesn't really do too much, right? So JavaScript is a scripting language, hence the name. Interestingly enough, the programming language Java was named because the programmers really liked coffee. So in a way, this is kind of like CoffeeScript. So what JavaScript does, it gets chucked in with your HTML. You can add things like buttons and clickable things and a whole bunch of interactive stuff, right? And basically, your page loads and it reads each line at a time and does those steps in order. So if you have all your HTML first, it'll lay out all your bare bones. Then it'll load everything else in. Right. So why are we doing this? Why JavaScript? Why not Python? Why not Ruby? Why not Java? You know, there's a whole bunch of languages out there. Why not Visual Basic? Well, JavaScript works entirely inside the realms of HTML and CSS, and it works with it quite well. It's also very simple to pick things up, right? Also, basically every browser that is out there supports JavaScript. It's great, right? But it's mostly because it's so universal, you know, and just plug and play anywhere. All right. So what can it do? You can make websites, right? It makes buttons, makes forms, a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, makes applications, Google Maps, right? You know, Google Forms, Google Sites, anything like that. Anything that's a web-based app. There's probably some terrible games that you play as well that are JavaScript based. You know, is Scribblio still a thing, or Slither.io, all the other EOs? Right? You can use it to make apps for your smartwatch, for your mobile, right? Web-based apps, good stuff. All right. So here's a couple of things that they can do, right? And we've got examples of this for you to check out as well. It can do things like it can change content or attributes, it can change the style that you have in place, right? It can hide elements, it can show elements, a whole bunch of other things. Now, I had some issues with this website here. So what I might do instead is I'll show you how to do this this first one, and you can do the rest. So if you jump into the CSS content library, there's some JavaScript code examples here. Right? Now I've gotten rid of one of them because it didn't work, because I didn't have the image that I wanted to change, but that's okay. What you're going to do is copy this code verbatim, go to Notepad++ if you have it, right? Paste it there, right? Isn't it beautiful? Then you're going to save this. I'm going to save it on my desktop as test.html. Make sure you add the .html. It already exists because I've practiced this before. It's not going to work. Maybe I'll give it a different name just to be safe. Test2.html. Then I jump out to my my desktop. I'm going to open test2, and look at how beautiful this is, right? It's HTML. There's not really any CSS going on, but that's okay. You click this button, and something happens. It changes the text, right? Which is cool, right? I think it's cool. All right. So what I want you to do is to quickly pause the video, come over here, copy these next 3 examples and see what happens. All right, give it a go. I just want to keep this video short, otherwise I will do it too. Yeah, just copy it in, save it, refresh the page, something else will happen. All right, copy the next code into Notepad, save it, refresh it, and it will be a different thing. Now I'm not going to click it because I want you to do it. All right, give that a go. All right. Now here are the things that we're going to try and get through. Your class activities, Code Academy stuff, and the JavaScript case study. In the interest of fairness, the JavaScript check what you know, we're not going to have one. All right, you got enough work to do, and I really want you to get onto the second project, so we're not doing that. So over the next few classes, we'll do these things on the left: algorithms, theory of code, flowchart, the basic problem solving, some IPO charts. you'll be allocated some more time to get through this Code Academy stuff. I suspect that some of you may have already started. And then in the end, we're going to do a little case study. I want to get through this relatively quick, so we're probably going to do that in about 2 weeks. All right. And then it's like, well, what's the point? I spoke to some of you about this at parent-teacher interview. Basically, once you've done that stuff and we tick off that case study, I'm going to give you the rest of term 2, all right, to plan, design, and create your own website. Anything you want. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can make. You can make online clock, a tip calculator, a game, an interactive map, mouse over element, to-do list, quiz, right? There's a whole bunch of examples that I was going to go through, but I don't have copies of them. So they're just the best that I can come up with at the time. Be more creative than me. Do something better than that, right? So we've gone through today's session, basically quick things to know, and then I'll leave you to do some Code Academy. So basic stuff, you write your code, it reads it one line at a time, just like any other programming language. It reads it line by line. Your browser will run it as each bit of code is read, right? Meaning if you put an instruction at the bottom, it will happen last. It will do any calculations, changes, whatever you want to do to the CSS and HTML based off when that instruction is run, right? If the browser finds code that it doesn't get, so if you make what is called a syntax error, which is where you make a language-based error, the browser will, in the interest of not swearing, it will poop itself, and it won't work anymore, right? And the whole thing will just shut down, which is kind of annoying. So, but it gives you some information that you've done something wrong. Right, you can mix JavaScript and HTML in the same document, right? That's good. The script tag is what you would use to say, all right, this is where my JavaScript code is inside their script tags. There's an example here. I want you to pause the video, type this up, see if you can get it to work, see what it looks like. I'll wait. Okay, assuming that you've done this, which 60% of you did not, right? I counted. You would have seen a page saying this is my awesome JavaScript code. You would have seen a message pop up that said hello world, right? Beautiful. Good. But just like CSS, your JavaScript doesn't have to be in the same document, right? So it can be, much like CSS, but it doesn't have to be. You can technically have a HTML, a JavaScript, a CSS, and you reference it the exact same way that you would a CSS document, using this, source, where whatever the name of your file is, .js, instead of .css. Other than that, it works basically the same. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Script, source, close script. So what this is basically saying is, okay, my script for this website is in this file. Go read all those instructions in order. Then when you're done, come back and do the rest of it. Right? Cool. If you want to muck around with this site, it's called codepen.io. It is split into 3 separate documents, and you can have a shot and see how it works. Right? So you can muck around with that, see how the 3 interact with each other, and how changing things in one can affect the others. Give that a shot if you want to whirl. Some basic rules of programming. I guess the best way to sum it up is saying that computers are really dumb. They're smart, but they're dumb. For example, if you were programming a car and said, when you see red, stop. Right? Sounds like a good idea for stoplights and stuff. But the way that would actually work is whenever it sees the color red, it will just stop. There's no judging for distance, right? So let's say there's a camera on the front of the car, and you're driving towards a Macca's. As soon as it sees the red of the Macca's, it'll just slam on its brakes. Probably have the people behind it crash, right? So yes, computers are smart, but they're dumb. Man, they're dumb. They need everything broken down as simply as possible. With a human, you can say, walk over to the fridge, get me a sandwich, right? With a computer, you'd be like, okay, stand up, turn left, walk to the door, open the door, go through the door, close the door. Yeah, it's a bit more. It's just something to keep in mind, right? You got to break things down, and that's it for today. If you get through this in a reasonable amount of time, and you haven't done those Codecademy things yet, go do them. If you want some extra stuff, go to W3 Schools and do some coding on there. All right. Sorry for taking so long. Take it easy.